Hi, in this session we'll talk about cell referencing, and there are three types of cell referencing, that is relative, absolute and mixed. So in relative reference, let's see, here I have the total revenue and total expenses of all these months and I want to calculate the net income, and that's a very simple formula that I take revenue, subtract expenses and hit enter. In order to drag, I can either drag it or I just can double click on this plus cursor. So that is relative reference. If I want to see it all these headers in rows, so I can just simply transpose it. So Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, instead of rows, is now coming as in columns. So let's see the next reference, that is absolute reference. Here I want to calculate the percentage of these marks. So I have the marks in this column and I want to calculate the percentage. So what I can do, take 85 divided by the maximum score, that is 100, and then drag it. Now there's some problem here. So this should come as 65%, whereas it is coming as 76%. Now how do I correct this? For that, I can use a shortcut, that is function F4, and make this cell, that is maximum score, as like I can freeze this cell. For this, the function F4, you have to hit function F4, and once you do that, you get these dollar signs. Now if this is not in percentage, so what I do is I change it as the percentage. Yeah, just a second. Percentage, but I have to decrease this. So I go here and divide it, and now what I'm doing here is I use function F4 key to freeze this column. So now if I drag it, see what happens. This time it's G5. If I go here also it's G5, or if I just go to formulas and go to show formulas, see here it's G5, whereas here it was dropping as in C6 by C5, and instead of C5 it was C6 here, C7 here. So I made this constant by using function F4, and what it does, it adds these dollar signs, which means it actually locks the cell. Now let's come to the third type of reference, that is mixed referencing. So here I want to calculate, I want to multiply this cell with this cell. So 10 multiplied by 1, 10 multiplied by 2, and 10 multiplied by 3, and 20 multiplied by 1, 20 multiplied by 2, and so on. C5. So what I want is, I want it to be C5, D5, E5, and so on here. That is, I want 5 in each row, but column wise I want it to be B6, B7, B8. Okay, but here if I see, then it is C7 multiplied by D6, whereas I want it to be B7 multiplied by D6. So I don't want to change it to C7. So it's going to be B7, B8, B9, B10 going down. So what I want to do is I want to lock the column so that I get B6, B7, B8, B9, B10. Okay, so I get like multiplied by this in every. Here it is already multiplying by B6, but if I go here, it's C6. So what exactly I want is I want this B6, B7, B8, B9, basically all these numbers. Okay, so instead of this C6, I want B6, this thing, that multiplied by whatever the column header is. So for that, that is if I have to lock the column. So what I can do is I use the same function F4, but now function F4 once. So I use this function F4, but now you do it once, then the whole cell gets freeze. But what I want to do is I just want to lock the column. So I do it again. Now the record gets locked because it is just before 6. I want to lock column, that is I do it function F4 again, and I get this. So this is how you lock the column. So I want B6, B7, B8, B9, B10. So B is same. Whereas in this multiplied by C5, I want it to be C5, D5, E5, F5. That is, I want to lock the record. So how I do that? Function F4. If you do once, the cell gets locked. I don't want to do that. I want this. I want to lock the record and hit enter. Now if you change it, just drag it, you get the numbers. So that was next reference.